Well, hello everybody. Welcome. What do we got? It's Tuesday night as normal. We're our normally scheduled time, and the great thing about this Tuesday is next Tuesday I won't be here, and we'll be on a cruise, the last cruise of the summer. Super looking forward to it, and I see so many of you checked in already, which is, I mean, normally not this many people have checked in so far. So let me start. Saying hello to everybody. We had Seg 183. They were the first to check in today. We got Frankie Floyd back. He just got a shirt, a Coach Cruz shirt in the mail. Glad it got there on time. We got Mike. Mike and I were chatting a little bit on Facebook. Jimbo is back, and let's see, 20 days till you're cruising, I take it. And Seg is cruising in 123 days. We got Tim. Tim is here. We were chatting a little bit today via Messenger. And let's see, Ben. Ben is here. Good to see you again, Ben. Ken Pascal. Good to see you. Angie. Angie, I haven't seen you in a little bit. Great to see you. And Yoli is here as well. All right, we got some of our, old school people here. That's always good to see everybody come back. Justin's here again. Kakins is here. Nick is here. All right, Sean. We a whole bunch of people. Tony G is here. All right, so thank you. And Miss Lady just checked in. So a bunch of you are checking in. I appreciate it. It's good to see so many people here early and on time. Sometimes it takes us a minute to get the numbers up, but we just jumped right up right away today. So that's great. And T just checked in. So I left it a little bit of a mystery, but those of you that are on the Facebook page and stuff, you probably saw a couple of comments from me. So for those of you that didn't know, we will be going on the Carnival Magic this Saturday. And I actually shared the link for this live on that cruise page. So I might have a couple people here. If there's anybody here that is on the Carnival Magic with me this weekend, say hi, let us know. Charlene's going to be on the Breeze on the 28th. I was on the Breeze for New Year's Eve. It was a lot of fun. Debbie is here, and she's new. So welcome, Debbie. We love seeing the new people. And look at this. Tim is getting us our first drink. Let me throw that on the screen for the so that and I will explain. And then Frankie Floyd right behind. Let me put Tim and then Frankie Floyd. So we had Eric from North Shore Travelers and CME Traveling. Good to see you all, Charlene. All right, we got a lot of people that have been here before but haven't been here in a minute that are here now. So this is great. All right, so Tim, you are 11 through 30, my friend, and thank you so much for that. I will have to think about maybe I'll do a fishbowl on the day of embarkation. And then Frankie Floyd did a $5 super sticker. So you are 31 through 35. And Charlene's going to be on her very first cruise on the 28th. That is so cool. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy living vicariously through people that are going on their first cruises. And whenever I see somebody that has a blue card, and that's what you'll have, your first cruise, I'm always anxious to talk to them and say, hey, is this your first cruise on Carnival or is your first cruise ever? And when it's their first cruise ever, I'm always, interested to see what they think and how much they like it. And we got the NFL boy here. I think Justin, I already mentioned you. And he's getting excited to go on the celebration, Justin, that is. But Tim and Frankie Floyd, thanks for that again. And for the new people here, if you don't know, we give away a shirt much like the shirt I'm wearing, but I did put a recent order at the beginning of the summer. So I have blue, I have yellow, I have purple, I have lime, and I still have some black. I got a couple shirts left in black and medium, size large, and size 3X, but I'm sold out in the rest. And I'm finally getting rid of some of my smalls. I'm starting to run low on smalls, but I have blue, yellow, and lime left in small. Let's see here. Trisha, welcome. And we'll be, Jimbo. Okay. Jimbo is going to be your first cruise ever as well. That's awesome. Okay. So we got a couple people. And for our new cruisers, One thing that I've told friends of mine that have cruised for the first time is make sure you prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Not I would say maybe 1 in 4 people, maybe less than that, have to deal with motion sickness. So make sure you bring some Dramamine. The people that do deal with motion sickness seem to handle it very well. The ones that wear that little, it looks like a little band-aid, and they usually have it on the back of their ear right there. I don't know whether that's Dramamine or if that's something else, but just be prepared, for something like that. Another thing, if you're doing the Caribbean sun is different, so I mean, some people I think make them the mistake, new cruisers and everything, like, oh, I'm going on vacation, I got to come back with a tan. So the first or second day they're laying out in the sun, just getting baked, and that Caribbean sun will tear you up, especially if you've got Irish skin, somebody like me. So take it slow early in the cruise. Don't be in a race to get that vacation tan or whatever, because if you get a bad burn, it's going to kind of mess up your vacation. Those are a couple tips for our new cruisers there, if you are sun people or whatever. And Jimbo says he's got a patch from the dock. Very good. And yeah, those are just a couple tips. And if some of our veteran cruisers want to throw a couple other tips in the comments to help out those new cruisers, that would be cool too. All right, so I mentioned I was going on the Carnival Magic, and I went on the Carnival Magic Thanksgiving, and it was out of Port Canaveral. The Magic seems to be one of those ships that moves around a lot. And now this time it is out of Norfolk, Virginia. And they seem to have different itineraries and everything too. When I was on the Magic prior, it did St. Martin, it did St. Thomas, it did San Juan, and it did Amber Cove. This time around, it's doing Amber Cove, San Juan, and Grand Turk. And I'm a big fan of Grand Turk. Frankie says don't overpack, and I agree with that. Speaking on that, what Frankie just said there, most people on a ship aren't going to see you again, So I will make a confession, but I do get free laundry, so I get these washed, and they do have laundry available even if you don't get free laundry. They have self-service laundry on most ships. They have self-service laundry, so you don't necessarily have to pack. But I mean, my thing is I like to wear a lot of cargo shorts. Partly because I can carry stuff, and I usually carry a big bag of buttons and stickers and stuff that I give away to people. And if I wear like normal shorts or jeans or something, I can't carry them in the pockets. So that's one of the main reasons I like wearing those cargo shorts on cruise ships. But I mean, if I have 3 pairs of cargo shorts, that's a lot. That's like more than enough. And then, you got your formal nights, you're going to have at least 1 pair of pants, a couple nice shirts if you're a guy, and I know ladies like to bring multiple dresses and multiple swimsuits and things like that, but at least the swimsuits don't take up much space. But yeah, you really don't need to overpack. I see some people just bring in like all this luggage, and I'm like, oh my God, why do you need all that stuff? And I know you're not going to wear all that. So yeah, that's definitely a great suggestion there. And I see, oh, there he is, Z. I saw somebody say hello, Z, and I was looking for your name. And Z is here. What's going on, Z? Hope everything is going well. And Tim, my friend, I forgot to explain the super chats fully. So when somebody gives a super chat, you're assigned whatever numbers that you got. So I said Tim was numbers 11 through 30. That's because we had North Shore Travelers give a $10 super chat last week, and it was the first one. Once we reach 100, we do a drawing. So that carries over from the week before. So Tim is 11 through 30. Frankie Floyd is 31 through 35. Now, if you do a super chat of $15 or more, I do a shot. And I have a little left of Buffalo Trace in this one. So Tim, in effect, bought me a shot. Now, Tim, I was going to say I was going to do a double, but my cup is still full here. But maybe my next one, if somebody does another one, I have a double here, but that will be poured into my big glass here. Now, if we reach 100 in super chats, I do I grab my phone here, and I'll do one for example. You see, it just has a couple messages. But hey, Siri, give me a random number 1 through 100. Okay, so it said 76. All right, so if we were doing a drawing right now, and we're not up to 76, but whoever 76 was would have been the winner and they would have won a shirt. That's how that works. So Tim, thank you for the shot here. Mm. Buffalo Trace is good stuff. That shot is pretty easy to do. So thank you again for that, Tim. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Z, you're working out on a diet, getting ready for the Carnival Jubilee. Getting very, very excited. Hopefully, Kendall Fire will be the cruise director. I'll tell you what, Z, if Kendall Fire is not the cruise director, it will just shock me. Like, I would be willing to bet a mortgage payment that she's going to be the cruise director. I just don't see how it's even possible. Well, obviously anything's possible. I mean, they could name me cruise director in a sense, but yeah, I just don't see the way the stars have aligned and everything. I just don't see anybody else getting. Honestly, I can't see why they haven't already named her. I don't know what they're waiting on. It seems like everybody knows. Just announce it already, but yeah, they haven't. They haven't. So Mike says he hasn't learned his lesson on packing. Well, I'll tell you what, I haven't learned my lesson on packing either, because our plane leaves Friday and I had to unpack my bag for Alaska. Even though it was warm there, I had packed some cold weather clothes thinking it might be cold, and it really wasn't cold the whole time. So I basically just unpacked everything, and so I got to repack again. And I haven't started, of course. I've been dealing with people ordering shirts and stuff for the bar crawl that I'm hosting on the Magic, and yeah, so that's that. So okay, so getting back to the Carnival Magic. Now, I did the Magic on Thanksgiving, and it's a good ship. I like the Magic. It's not my favorite ship. Some things that I like about the Magic, for those people that are tuning in for the first time, that might be, and if anybody is here from the Magic, let me know. And Seg says, Coach, you coming on? What are you referring to, Seg? But anyway, the Magic is a good ship. Like I said, it's not my favorite ship. A few things I like about it on the, what is it? Was it the Panorama? Well, deck 5. Well, it's either deck 4 or deck 5. I think it's deck 5. But they have 2 nice size hot tubs on each side of the ship. And, I mean, you can usually get a spot in those hot tubs. That's a nice touch, I think. The Alchemy Bar, some people don't like this. I understand why they don't like it. It's a dream class ship. And the Alchemy Bar, that's like my spot. That's like, if you ever go on a cruise that I'm on, I mean, if you stake out the Alchemy Bar, I will be there at some point. Sometimes I'm just grabbing a drink and going, but a lot of times I will camp out there. And Yoli, I see, thank you so much for that. Let's see, 36 through 50, Yoli, and I'm going to get this shot ready in just a second. Thanks so much for that. And Yoli and I and Anita and her husband and a few other people, I think it's good. It's an unofficial group cruise, but New Year's Eve, we got about 10 people, coach cruisers, that are going to be meeting up on New Year's Eve and hanging out. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So I'll be looking forward to that one. That's the third one in line going right now. Now, what I was saying about the Alchemy Bar, it's in close proximity to the Ocean Plaza. So they play a lot of live music there. Now, some people don't like that because they're at the bar and they want to talk. But I like it because you get to hear live music. I mean, the live music's right there. And usually the live musicians are pretty good. So I find that as an added perk, having the live music right there. The cafe is just around the other side. So if you want to get a coffee or something, it's right there. But the Carnival, the typical ship is laid out, and what those of you that have cruised Carnival a lot, the basic layout. Things might be in a different spot or whatever, but for the most part, most of your stuff's going to be on decks 4, decks 5, and wherever the Lido deck is. On some ships, it might be on deck 9, other ships 10 or 11. and so on and so forth. But it's pretty nice. Now, one thing, let's see, they have a casino. Another thing that's nice for you casino players, if you don't like the smoking, they have a non-smoking casino on deck 4, and then on deck 5 is the regular casino. And yeah, so I mean that's a nice touch. They, like I said, they have the Ocean Plaza right there in the middle of the ship, and the spa. That's one that I like. So some of these older ships, and I've said this a lot, some of these older ships with Carnival, they have much better spas than the newer ships, and they have a, I always mess up the name, but it's a it's basically a giant whirlpool. All right. It's a giant whirlpool with the bubbles, and it's got like these metal fluted reclining type seats, which you just lay on, and these strong bubbles are just, going up against your back and everything as you just lay there and pass out. And it's just wonderful. And you can fit like probably a dozen people in there pretty comfortably. 6 people laying on the reclining things, and another 6 just kind of standing around on the other end. So, that's a really, really nice touch. And Yoli, I am going to get this shot ready here for you. And Yoli and her husband are big Oklahoma Sooner fans and also big Steeler fans. And they give me grief about the Raiders, which I don't understand because we're not in the same division, but so I don't hate Steelers, but she likes to give me grief. But Yoli, thank you for this. Appreciate it. All right. We got 2 in. Okay. Yes. Tony G, the lasso therapy. And I think I would say the Lassalopoly or something like that. The lasso therapy. Tony put it up there. And yeah, I love that spa area. And I will consider, I don't think I've paid for it yet, but as a matter of fact, I might have to buy that package. That used to be, you could buy it as a couples package where it would be for like the week. You could get access to the lasso therapy, and then all the saunas and steam rooms and things like that. You'd have access to those, and it'd be like $229 or something for a couple. See, to me, I feel like that's a pretty decent deal. Some of their, like for example, you can get a massage for a couple's massage, and they're wanting like $300. I would rather get a whole week of stuff where you can just go in there and relax and pass out and sweat out all the bad toxins and things than do a massage there. All right, let's go through some of the comments. Tim says, go Steelers. Yeah, Yoli, Tim's a big Steelers fan too. And Tim and I are rooting for different horses tonight. He's a Reds fan, and the Reds are playing the Cubs. And the Cubs and the Reds are in a playoff race. And the Reds escaped the Cubs yesterday. They beat the Cubs 6-5. So we need a Cubs win today. Go Cubs. Tim's rooting for the Reds, but Justin's a Seattle Seahawks fan. Seahawks, they overachieved last year, so that's not too bad. Raiders, I'm just hoping they're not terrible like they usually are. I don't even know what to do with the Raiders anymore. I mean, that's my team. And the thing is, I'm a Raiders fan and I'm a Cubs fan, and I'm one of these fans that I can't separate myself from the team. Like, I'm a diehard Cubs fan and I'm a diehard Raiders fan. And as much as I would like to just block them out of my memory sometimes because they just frustrate and anger me, when they're bad, I can't. I'm just like a diehard fan of those 2 clubs. Those are the only 2 teams that I would say I'm diehard fan of. Like, I support other teams. Like, I'm a Bulls fan, I root for the Blackhawks, things like that. But like, they don't upset me or get me mad or anything like when they lose. But the Cubs and the Raiders, they get it done. All right. Ben has joined the drawing. So Ben, you are numbers 51 and 52, and we are only 48 away from doing a shirt drawing. Tricia says the thermal spa. Yes, that's what it's referred to. We got a couples package last January, but now they are not offering it, only individuals. We went before dinner every day. Love it. Worth the money. Tricia, yeah, I agree with you. Let me just throw that up on the screen for just a minute. That would be something that I would say is definitely worth the money as well. And speaking of worth the money, let me throw out one of my would you rathers. Okay, so here's my would you rather. Now, one of my choices is sushi and the seafood shack. So I'm giving you two meals, but I got to pull something away because I know if this was included. And look at that. We got Trisha jumping in. Thank you for that, Trisha. So you are 53 through 57. Yeah, 53 through 57. Thank you for that. $5 super sticker. And first we had Ben, and then we had Trisha. So thank you for that. And we are only 43 away. Oh, and we got Paul here, 65 days until the Spirit out of Mobile. Also go Braves. Yeah, I'm okay with the Braves. They're okay. No problem with them, unless they're playing the Cubs. So I lost my train of thought here. Oh yeah. Okay. So sushi and the seafood shack. That's one of your choices. But I'm pulling something out here. Crab legs. I'm not including crab legs because I know crab legs are super expensive. And if you knew you could just eat whatever crab legs you wanted, you would just, you would just totally easily pick that one. So I'm giving you the choice of the steakhouse one time or two meals. So you can go for sushi, one night, have a couple sushi rolls, whatever, maybe, whatever they serve at Bonsai Sushi. And then you can go to the seafood shack another night. So maybe you get steamed shrimp and a bowl of clam chowder or, fried shrimp or whatever, fried fish and chips, something like that. So I'm giving you a 2-for-1. You can have sushi and the seafood shack, or you can have the steakhouse once. What is your choice? All right. Wow, Tim, steakhouse, hands down. This lady's steakhouse. Ken is the first one to say sushi and seafood. Frankie's Steakhouse. I thought it was going to be a little bit more even, but Charlene jumped in with the sushi and seafood. Let's see. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So bless Nettie's Steakhouse, Trisha. I mean, I'm a big steakhouse person too, but I thought that's a very fair. I mean, because sushi, if you get a couple sushi rolls, like let's see, you get the bang bang roll. I think those are like $8 a piece. So if you got a couple of those, it'd be like 16. Okay, so Angie, yeah, I got Angie on sushi. She was on the horizon with me, her and Christy and Nikki, and April, and she had never had sushi. I'm like, here, try this bang bang roll. she tried it and she liked it, and she's been eating sushi ever since. So I started Angie on sushi. Yoli says, okay, so Yoli's going seafood. Kakins has only tried Manzai. Frankie says, I live in Florida, so we eat a lot of seafood. So I'm guessing Frankie is taking the steakhouse there. Let's see. Moonlight Adventures. Got to try Fahrenheit 555. And I'm glad Moonlight Adventures came, because guess where Moonlight Adventures lives? They live in Virginia, and they're only 45 minutes. So I don't know, Josh, if you found out. So I'd asked Josh, I messaged Josh and Chastity. They are the Moonlight Adventures there. For those of you that don't know, go check out their channel. But I had said maybe, I don't know. It depends on Josh. They're like 45 minutes away from Norfolk. So I'd thrown out the idea like, hey, if you're Josh travels a lot though, so he doesn't know if he'll be in town on Friday. But I threw out the thought of possibly having a live on Friday in Norfolk, because we're going to be there Friday night, the day before. We always get there a day early for our trip. So yeah, let me know. But there's a possibility Moonlight Adventures and myself and Anita possibly will be live on Friday, the night before we go on our cruise. So we'll keep you posted on that. Trisha says, I did eat at Bonsai and the Legend 3 times in June. And we got Bruce from Ocean Travel, and he comes on right after me, remember, everybody. So if you haven't had enough cruise talk and cruise fun, jump on over to Bruce after this show. Ocean Travel. Paul says steakhouse for me, but seafood for my wife. All right, so I don't know. I guess Paul's at the steakhouse by himself, and his wife's going to the seafood shack. I don't know how you going to solve that debate, Paul. Is the wife win every time, or you flip a coin, or how's that work? And then yeah, Tony's saying hello to Bruce. So, all right, so that was a good would you rather. I mean, I think it was at least two out of every three picked the steakhouse, and that would be my choice as well. Um, but yeah, all right, well that's good. All right, so I got some more would you rather stuff. So these are the choices that I'm thinking about in each of the three ports that we're going to, and I wanted to get your thoughts on what you would do. All right, so Amber Cove. Um, Here are my choices. This is what I'm thinking about doing. One of the choices is the waterfalls, which, if you are physically able, I highly, highly recommend. They're called the Dama Agua waterfalls or something like that. I've done a video on this excursion. I almost lost my damn phone. I kid you not. I had a strap on my wrist and everything, and I wanted to film it so I could put out a video. The first jump is about 40 feet, and you hit with quite an impact, and the impact almost just like pulled it off my, and I like barely like grabbed the end of it, or otherwise my phone would have been gone, and that would have just been the worst, right? Because that's where I was filming everything with. Thankfully, I had it in a waterproof case, all that stuff, and like I said, the strap was tight, but I still almost lost it. That was the only jump where it was a close call. Every other one I was able to hold on to it good. But it's an amazing excursion. You jump off about 8 waterfalls, and the first one is the highest one. Then after that, they get a little smaller, but they're still fun to jump off of a waterfall into a big pool of water. My biggest fear, since I'm a big human being, I fluctuate in weight anywhere from 275 to 295 pounds, depending on the cruise. My biggest fear was, I'm like, hey, these guys are probably getting paid $15 an hour to stand here and tell people to jump and this and that. And I'm like, they don't care about me. So my biggest fear was jumping into these waterfalls, and you're jumping into a pool of water. And we've all heard stories about people jumping into water that was too shallow and they come out paralyzed or whatever. So I'm thinking, like, okay, yeah, there's a 120-pound lady in front of me. I don't know what she's afraid about. She's going to be fine, you know. But me on the other hand, I need to worry about this situation. So I'm like, and I'm not a big heights person either. So, when I get up there, I'm nervous. Anita had gone before me, and her scream is hilarious. You got to watch that Damahagua waterfalls. It's quite a ways back. It's like over a year ago. But if you go through the video library, you got to play that, and you got to hear Anita scream. It's hilarious. But I asked the guy, I'm like, look, where do I jump? I'm like, I weigh this much weight, whatever I weighed at the time. I'm like, I'm good, right? Like, I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom and hit hard or anything like that. He's like, no, you're okay. It's fine. And I was like, where do I jump? And he pointed, and then so I pointed again. I'm like, okay, that's where you right that jump right there. And he's like, yeah, jump right there. I'm like, okay. So I jump and everything was fine, but my butt did hit the bottom. I will say that it didn't hit it hard, but I was heavy enough that I actually hit the bottom, but not hard, like I said. So there was no danger, but that was the thing that scared me, because, like I said, I weigh a lot, but everything was fine. So that's an amazing excursion. Once you jump into the waterfall, you walk out, and then you'll go into the stream, and you might wait a little bit down to the next waterfall, and you might have to swim just a little bit in a couple little pockets, but you got a life vest on, you got a helmet on, everything's, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's natural. Everything is cool. And for those of you that are afraid to jump, they actually have water slides. In fact, and this is a good tip. So if anybody's here on the Carnival Magic, or anybody's going to Amber Cove to do this, if you book through Carnival, there was an incident, something happened. And so now Carnival, if you book through Carnival, they're not letting you jump off. Your only option is to do the slides, which I think is lame. You want to have the option to jump off. So yeah, I would book an outside vendor. A lot of people ask me, Well, who'd you book through? My usual go-to is I go to a company called shoreexcursioneer.com. They have never given me a dime of anything. I've just found their prices to be good. And they do a good job of making sure their vendors are good. And if I've ever had to cancel or anything, and money's come right back. They're good in communication. They send you a big list of where the meetup point is, what you need to bring, all kinds of stuff. And usually you just have to put a little deposit. The one bad thing about them, at least in the Amber Cove port, is most of the ports, you just walk out the gates. It's a short walk and you meet somebody outside the gates that's a separate vendor. But the walk in Amber Cove, it's about a half-mile walk to get outside the port area there. So that's the bad thing. But another thing, and since we're on the topic, Carnival offers a excursion guarantee, 110% excursion guarantee. So what that means is Amber Cove is a great example. So Carnival probably charges, I don't know, at least $100 for their waterfall excursion, right? And you're not even going to get to jump. But if you decided, you know what, I want to go with Carnival, I don't want to jump anyway, I want to go with Carnival, I don't like paying the extra $30, $40, but I want to go with Carnival because that's what makes me feel comfortable. You can do that. But here, get yourself some free money. So this is another video of mine. So if you find another vendor, like let's say Carnival's charging $100, and then you go onto the Shore Excursioneer and you find almost the same excursion for like $69. Well, that's a $31 difference. Carnival will give you that $31 difference in onboard credit plus an additional 10%. So you'll get like $34 onboard credit per ticket. So if you have a family of 4, for example, you're going to get like $125 onboard credit. If you keep that excursion with Carnival, you have to purchase it first. And then if you find a cheaper one somewhere else, that's when they give you the 110% difference. But again, in this situation, I would rather go with an outside vendor because you have the option to jump off rather than just only slide off. So that's the choice. We got Eric from North Shore Travelers here. Paul says the wife always wins. You've probably been married a long time, Paul, with that thinking, I'm guessing. How long have you been married, Paul? Let's see. Trisha says we did the 7 waterfalls and zip line in June. We booked it through Carnival and they would not let us jump. Yeah, see, Trisha, thank you for mentioning that. Only slide down the falls. Bummer, it's still a great time. Kevin, we got Kevin here. Kevin we cruised with in, what was it? Yeah, that was the April cruise too on the horizon. Same one that Angie was on. And let's see, Tex. Oh, Tex is here. See, we got everybody. We got everybody showing up today. This is awesome. All right, all our normal people. Justin, have fun on the magic. Thank you, sir. Mike says, good evening. Okay, just saying hi to everybody. And Frankie says we always book outside of Carnival. Yeah, well, Frankie, and you know what? There's some people that are like, what, Frankie, and I don't always book outside of Carnival. There's sometimes that, I find it more convenient with Carnival or things like that. But the one thing about Carnival is, and I noticed this at the whale watching, there was a whale watching excursion in Juneau, Alaska. I booked outside of Carnival through Shore Excursioneer, and we were on a smaller boat, and they had nice viewing areas and everything. I looked across the way. As a matter of fact, if you watch my Juneau, Alaska whale watching, you can actually see the ship across the way in the video. There were it seemed like 200 people on this boat, just all packed trying to see the whales. They had all these people standing up on the top deck and then all these people on the bottom deck. And I'm just like, man, that would be uncomfortable to try to wedge your way to try to get a view of the whales where, my boat was smaller. We only had like 40 people or something. And most everybody had a good viewing area to see the whales and everything. So Frankie, I'm sure, would tell you that's one of the reasons why he doesn't book with the cruise line directly is if you book with some of these outside vendors, if you book with the cruise lines, they're going to try to pack, if you're going on a catamaran, they're going to try to fill that catamaran up and sell every possible seat. Sometimes when you book with the outside vendors, they can't fill up the whole catamaran. if that's what you're going on. And so instead of a catamaran that could hold 40, 50 people, maybe they only have 24 people on, and you got plenty of room, and it might be cheaper also. So, and Frankie, you can let us know in the comments if what I'm saying is true, if that's one of the reasons. Oh, Frankie said yes. Let's see. Mike says I booked Carnival for Grand Cayman, Stingray Encounter, and Starfish Point and Anchor Tours was amazing. Yeah, Grand Cayman's a great example. Mike just mentioned it. To do Stingray City, which is an amazing excursion. There's this natural habitat in the middle of the ocean called Stingray City in Grand Cayman, and all these boats will go up there, and the stingrays will just freely swim up to you, right? And there's a bunch of them. Now, if you book through Carnival, I don't even remember what the price is. It's kind of expensive though. But if you go off the ship into the port area, it's like Carnival's price is here. And then if you go into the port area, there's vendors here and the price is here. If you go outside the gate like 15 feet, the price is here. And it's all the same thing, basically. I mean, you're just Carnival price, vendor price, just in the port area, just out the gates price right there. So I mean, that's some of the things you learn from cruising multiple times as you get that option. And if you're not scared to book with an outside vendor, that's some ways you can save money. We got Carolyn. Hi, we usually book through Carnival, but I'm going to check out the site you mentioned. Okay, yeah, it's shoreexcursioneer.com. And if you decide, Carolyn, or anybody, like I say, if you end up deciding that, hey, the Carnival, I just feel more comfortable, I'm scared about an outside vendor not getting me back on time, which I can almost assure you will never happen, just because that outside vendor would be so basically ruin their business, because word gets out they didn't get somebody back on time and the ship left them. It would basically ruin their business. Most outside vendors will get you back at least an hour early, or if it's an outside vendor and they're asking you at the beginning of the tour, like, okay, what time's your guys' ship leave? And you'll hear like 4, 6, 8 people say, oh, it leaves at 3 o'clock. I'm like, okay, we're going to have you back by at least 2 o'clock. Don't worry, because they don't want to, like I say, they don't want a bad reputation. They want you to have a good experience and say good things about them. Eddie Lugo Studios is here. Brooklyn in the house. All right. Well, Eddie, I'm going to be on the Venezia next summer, 2024. So I'll be in your neighborhood in June of next year. So we'll have to look you up. All right. So, So we talked about Amber Cove, the waterfalls. So here were the choices here. I've already been on the waterfalls, but if I was going to do an excursion, I would do the waterfalls again. I did do Amber Cove just recently, and we did an all-inclusive beach, and it was through Carnival, and it was like $94. The ratings were good. It was like 4.5 ratings. So I was like, well, let me check it out. The beach is not as pretty as Cozumel. It's not a crystal clear beach. You can't see the bottom of the water. It's not an ugly beach by any means. There was plenty of seating. There was seating in the shade. They had an open bar, but unlike Cozumel, where if you go to Mr. Sancho's or Paradise Beach, you have waiters and waitresses just at your beckoning call, like, hey, can I get a couple more drinks? And they're bringing you the drinks. They're bringing you the food. They were not wait staff like that walking around. They basically had a buffet that you had to walk up to and get your own food. I mean, you could eat as much as you want. We didn't even end up eating. And then the bar, same thing. I mean, there was a lady that would walk around once in a while and ask you if you wanted to drink, but it wasn't like a regular thing, So, I mean, we got a couple waters delivered to us, but, that was about it. But for the most part, we would walk up to the bar ourselves. And it was like $30 more than what you would pay for a Paradise Beach or a Mr. Sancho's in Cozumel. So that was the other option in Amber Cove. So I'm not choosing that option again. If I were going to do an excursion, it would be the waterfalls. So our choice is the waterfalls, and I'm asking you what you would pick. The waterfalls, again, keep in mind, we've already done this, and we're going to have to spend, I think Shore Excursionaire, we could get it for about $140, $150 for 2 people. Or Amber Cove, one of the highlights of Amber Cove with Carnival is they have this brilliant free pool area, big, giant free pool with a lazy river, all the loungers for days. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of loungers, hundreds of umbrellas. So you can be in the shade. those are free. The chairs are free, the umbrellas are free, the pool is free. Now, what you pay for are the drinks and the food that you might buy in that area. They also have some shops. If you would like to shop, they have a lot of shops in the Amber Cove port right there. So that would be the second choice. And then the third choice would be to, because usually when you're in port, like the pools and things like that, you might see they're normally packed. If you stay on the ship a lot of times when you're in port, sometimes those pools are almost completely empty. So you can kind of enjoy the pool yourself. And keep in mind, we have Cheers. So we wouldn't be paying for drinks because our Cheers package would be covering the drinks that we drink if we were to stay on the ship rather than get off the port. So if you were us and you had those three options, what would you do? Stay on the ship and you got your drinks already paid for, the free pool and the port area there where everything is free, the pool is free, lazy river, everything, but you got to pay for your drinks and you got to pay for your food, or do the waterfalls a second time. What is your choice? If Okay, so Angie was the first. She says waterfalls. Mike's saying stay on the ship, get those free drinks, utilize that Cheers package. Michael's saying stay on the ship too. I think there are a couple people that enjoy their drinks. Seg, same thing, stay on the ship. Wow. Okay. All right, we got three stay on the ships. Eddie's Lido saying Lido, so I'm thinking that stay on the ship as well. I'm kind of surprised, honestly, how many people are saying stay on the ship. Okay, so Angie said I did stay on the ship on the horizon and the pool was busy, unfortunately. Oh, well, yeah, I guess a lot of people have that same idea. Tim, so we got two waterfalls and a lot of stay on the ships. Okay, Trisha's go to the free pool for a little while, then go back to the ship and enjoy free drinks. Okay, so she's saying do the best of both worlds. Okay, Tony's saying the free pool. Charlene, shopping, then go back to the ship. I'm not a big shopper though, Charlene. But if I was, what should I be shopping for? What should I shop for, Charlene? Justin says, I'm watching your video from the Celebration Ship Tour. Let me know what you think, Justin. Tell me how I can improve it, what I should do different. Eric from North Shore Traveler says, free pool for a while and then back to the ship. Okay, so those are some good suggestions. We did have a couple waterfalls, but I think the overwhelming thought was to stay on the ship. So maybe I'm going to circle that. I'm going to let Anita know that that's what you all said. All right. Now, San Juan. Now, this is a tougher one. And I'm going to give you my thought process on this. And you tell me what I should do, what we should do. All right. Now, I've been to San Juan a lot. And I have friends that actually own a restaurant. And for those of you that saw the interview I did with Lee Mason, I took him to the restaurant of my friends that their family owns this restaurant. And we had a great meal and everything. But the last two times I've been in San Juan, I've gone there. So I'm going to do something different this time. Now, Lee had mentioned a restaurant that he favors, that him and Geraldine is his girlfriend, maybe something more in the future because they're pretty tight, if you know what I mean. And they're going on their bucket list trip. They're on vacation right now. So if you haven't already subscribed to Lee Mason, check them out. Well, anyway, they have this place called the Stuffed Avocado where they hollow out this avocado, I think. And I don't know. Anyway, he said it's like a upscale kind of Chipotle type of thing. So if you like a Chipotle, and I know not everybody likes Chipotle, but like fresh ingredients and everything, except on a San Juan, Puerto Rican type scale. And that sounded good to me. And then walking around downtown. So that's one of the options. The second option, and I've never tried to do this, but I was doing my research on Google and I found out there are some rather popular beaches in San Juan. I mean, you have to take a taxi to get to them, but I didn't know that there were beaches that you could go to that were popular in San Juan. So right now, I got to say that the couple beaches that I've looked up, they sound promising. Like they're not just 4 stars, like they're like 4.5 stars, something like that. And it's something we haven't done as many times as we've been to San Juan. So I got to say, I'm leaning heavily toward these beaches. I forget the names of them. Maybe a couple of you have gone to them. If you have, let me know. And then the other option is to stay on the ship. And I know a lot of people stay on the ship in San Juan. I usually always go off and at least go to like Walgreens or something. But the city, if you've never been there, I mean, the downtown San Juan, old San Juan is beautiful. And I just want to go back to the comments here, make sure I didn't miss anybody. Jason. Okay, so Jason's going to be there. And they're going to go to the free pool, then back to the ship. Oh, thank you, Eddie. Yeah, you know what? I always forget. I don't know why I always forget. I always forget to ask you all to hit the like button. So yeah, if you're on YouTube right now, I don't know if you're on your phone, it's the easiest. You can just minimize the screen, hit the like button, and then just maximize the screen again. And your computer is probably the next easiest. The one that's a little tricky is the TV, but I mean, if you always watch YouTube on your TV, you probably know how to navigate the remote and click that like button. But okay, so thank you for that, Eddie, for reminding me. Yoli says, I always shop for a Christmas ornament every port I go. Anita used to really be into that too. She probably told you that, Yoli. Charlene, I'm shopping for things for family, coworkers, and such. Well, that's cool. Eddie, Monfungo. And I had Monfungo, skirt steak and Monfungo when I was at that restaurant. If you saw the interview, Eddie, that I did with Lee Mason, that's what I ordered. But, Eddie, have you ever had con? That's like a Puerto Rican type pork chop, and it's amazing. And I had that the first time I went, and I regretted not getting that again. That's how good it was. It was even better than the mofongo, which was very, very good. Mike says the beaches. Seg says the beaches. Angie says the beaches. Tim says the beaches. Eddie, you were born in Puerto Rico? Very cool. So I'm assuming you've had con then. Miss Lady says beaches. T says really like San Juan. Try the avocado place. Okay, so that's our first different one. Maybe we can do both. Maybe we can hit the avocado place or, before we go, or hit the avocado place on the way back if we got enough time. Kevin says downtown at least once, then beaches. We've been to the downtown before, but I mean, we could kind of walk through the downtown, find the avocado place, and then go to the beach, or like I say, hit it on the way back. So we might be able to do both. But if we only have to do one, Frankie says my vote is beach on San Juan, and I went surfing. Very cool. North Shore smashed the button. All right, if everybody else could smash that like button, that would be awesome. We got 36 of you here. I haven't checked to see how many have hit the like button yet, though. Michael says we love walking around Old San Juan, and it is a beautiful downtown area. It really is. Jason, go to the beach. Chuleta al Cancan. Okay. All right. Is that how I am supposed to pronounce it? Trisha, I don't know what that says. Races. The best are the west side of the island. Okay. That's good to know. But I think we're going to do the beach. I think we're going to do the beach this time in San Juan. We have not done it. Look at that. We got 34 likes. We got 37 people on. So that means there's only 3 people on here potentially that haven't hit that like button. But if some people liked it early and then jumped off, maybe we could get up to 40 or more. So very good. It'd be great if we could get 40 plus, and then if we get 10 more people jumping on here in the last 12 minutes, it'd be great. All right, so I'm going to circle the beach. So look at this. You're all helping me to plan the vacation here. And we got one more port. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to tell you what I normally do, and I'm usually very happy with it. And it's going to be hard to switch. If you all vote a different way, it's going to be hard for me to switch from this one. I think I'm going to go with both of your choices. Amber Cove, you said mostly the ship. Some of you said maybe go to the pool for a little bit and come back. That might be a possibility there. The beach in San Juan, I think that's going to happen. And we might try to hit like the stuffed avocado place and go through the downtown. We might be able to hit all 3 in a way in San Juan. So Grand Turk is one of my favorite ports. And the reason why Grand Turk is one of my favorite ports is because it's so simple. Those of you that have been Grand Turk, it's just beautiful. You pull up and you were like parked right on the beach. I mean, you literally could, I mean, you'll get in trouble and kicked off the ship, but you can almost jump off the ship and don't do that. But you almost could, if you had to, jump off the ship and you could safely swim to shore. That's how close it is, right? And the shore is beautiful. It is those crystal clear blue waters that everybody covets, you know, when they go on a vacation. And the beach is like literally right there, and the whole beach is just lounge chairs for the entire length of the beach and umbrellas and everything. And it's one of the places that competes for your business. So there are multiple people selling buckets of beer. There are multiple places selling food, although Jack Shack is still the preferred one at the very end of the beach. But it's so easy to just get off, get yourself a couple lounge chairs, get an umbrella, get a bucket of beer, and then sit and stare at the ship and the crystal clear blue water and go into the beach. So that's almost always the option that I take. But I will say this, I have done the ATVs on Grand Turk. I've also done a private all-inclusive type beach, you know, where they include your food and they include your drinks and things like that. That was a lot of fun, but I don't feel like that's necessary or worth necessarily the $100 a person or near $100 to get that experience when you can buy a bucket of beer for $15 and a couple lounge chairs and umbrella for $30 or whatever it is, and just, you know, I feel like your money goes as far, and you can still get some food and stuff on top of it. So that's your first choice, and that one's going to be tough to beat. The beach, ATVs, all-terrain vehicles. You can drive all around Grand Turk, drive through the desert areas, drive along the beach. That's a lot of fun. I have done that. That's your second option, but keep in mind that's going to cost you about $100 a pop, so roughly $200 for that ATV excursion. And then your third choice is a catamaran. And you can get a catamaran for a deal, usually $70-ish per person, to go on a nice catamaran and go snorkeling, see some pretty fish, see some pretty sights. So those are your three choices. All right. So what are we doing? Are we doing the beach? Are we doing the catamaran? Or are we doing the ATVs? Let's see your choices. I thought I had an ornament from Grand Turk. Turns out I don't. Now I have to go back there. Well, Yoli, we can pick you one up, but I don't know if it's the same if you're not picking it out. Seg says, love Grand Turk. Sean says, Jack Shack all day. So I'm assuming it's beach all day. Jason, bucket of beer in the beach. I like your thinking there. Mike, public beach. Texas saying catamaran. Okay. Seg says the beach. Tony, catamaran. We got an ATV from Yoli. Angie says beach and beer. I like your thinking. The Merry Mixer. T is saying catamaran. All right. This one is more divided. You all aren't making this easy on me, but there's enough beaches to keep me in the hunt here. Charlene is saying ATV. Frankie, catamaran. Miss Lady says ATV and beach. So do the ATV and still get your beach in. Yeah, that's a possibility. That's a possibility. Okay. Well, that one was quite divided. I was surprised. And everybody that voted on well, I mean, you didn't have to beat a Grand Turk, but I'm telling you, look up pictures of Grand Turk, and it is quite something. All right. So I don't think you all have voted enough. Those of you picking the ATV and the catamaran to get me to get us off the beach, but I will make note that it was a divided vote there. So that was good. All right. So I have some more would you rathers. We are running to the last 6 minutes. Now I will say this. We are 43 away in super chats. I don't know if we're going to make it there. I did empty my cup enough that if somebody were to do a $15 super chat, look how much of that is. That is a double shot. It looks like a lot more though, doesn't it? I promise you it's only a double. I measured it out and I poured it in there. I'm not the lush Well, maybe I am. but I promise you it's only 2 shots. But if somebody were to do a $15 super chat, I would pour that in this cup here, and I have a can of Coke to mix it with. Coke Zero. That's my thing. Got to watch the calories if we're drinking. Jason says Grand Turk's on my list to visit Ness, looking at the magic for the end of next year. Yeah. And you know what? Those of you, I'm going to try to do a better job of going live more. You know, I had a talk with Derek from Island Time, and I was like, you know what? You do a real good job of going live a lot when you're on your cruises. And I try to do it, you know, and sometimes it just, there's just too much stuff going on. And then I'll think about going live. And then, okay, Tim says somebody add $5 to do a shot. I'll do that. If somebody adds 5 on, I will definitely. Well, actually, you guys will get the double. You'll get the double. So it'll be 5 more to get the double. So Tim, you are 58 through 67. Mike says, yeah, bourbon and Coke, my drink. All right. Great minds think alike. Justin says ATVs, controversial cruising. What's up? Are you back from Alaska or okay? So Frankie did it. All right. So here we go. We are going to go. So he is 68 through 72. And just so, and I promise you all, I will finish this and Tex on top of it. So we got 73 through 77. And we're only 20. And look, Yoli, man, you all jumped in. This is awesome. So that's 82. So you are also 78 through 82. And now we're only 18 away. And Angie, all right. The Merry Mixer. For those of you that live in the Dayton area, if you do, you can be so fortunate as to have Angie Brooks make you some of the best baked items you will ever eat. If anybody lives in Ohio that's watching right now, I promise you, I'm not even joking. So 87. So you are 83 through 87, Angie. And we are only 13 away. And look at this, Eric from North Shore Travelers. All right. So I think we might make this. So you are 88 through 97, Eric, and you're also 1 through 10. So we are only 3 away from the shirt drawing, and here we go. Let me dump this in here, and I have a lot more in here than I thought, but so I'm not going to be able to pour this whole. Tim is in Ohio now. Are any chance you are in the Dayton area, Tim? Because if you are, you need to contact Angie and get some baked goods, because I promise you, I've said this before for those of you that watch all the time. Angie's one of these people, and her nickname's the Merry Mixer. She's on Facebook and stuff like that. But she does these. She could be on one of these TV shows. No lie. I'm not even exaggerating right there. Like, you see the pictures and you're like, is that a flower or is that a cupcake? You know, like, she's one of those people that can make like cupcakes look like actual flowers. And there it is. We got Tex. He finished the job here. So he is 98 through 100. And we get to do a drawing here at the end. But yeah, back to Angie real quick. Yeah, she does like those, like Cake Boss and all that kind of stuff. For those of you that are into those shows, she can do all that kind of stuff. All right, so let me clear the screen here. So you see the screen is cleared. And let me read through what numbers everybody has so everybody knows. So Eric from North Shore Travelers is 1 through 10. Tim is 11 through 30. Frankie is 31 through 35. Yoli is 36 through 50. Ben is 51 and 52. Tricia is 53 through 57. Tim again is 58 through 67. Frankie again is 68 through 72. Tex is 73 through 77. Yoli again is 78 through 82. Angie 83 through 87. Eric again 88 through 97. And Tex again 98 through 100. All right. So here we go. Siri, give me a random number 1 through 100. All right. Everybody see that? 58. So let's see who 58 is. Tim Tim G had numbers 58 through 67. Trisha, you missed it by one. You were 53 through 57. Tim was 58 through 67. And Frankie was the next one after at 68 through 72. So Tim wins the shirt. And Tim, you can message me. Let me know what color and size you want. And congratulations on that. But I'll tell you what, this hour went fast. And I'm going to try to do a live Friday. And here's another thing. You see the banner going across there, asking people to subscribe. I know most of you watching today are already subscribed, but we're getting close. We're getting very close to 5,000 subscribers. We're just over 100 away now. So, I mean, that could happen. I mean, there's days when I've gotten over 100 subscribers in a single day. Usually something crazy has to happen for that to happen. Like I go live with some controversial topic that's going on, like before my last cruise on the Celebration, something like that happened. Or somebody, like Cookie, for example, one time said, "Hey, you watch Coach's video," and they watched it. Like 300 of his followers like hit me in a day just because he showed my video or whatever. And then Lee has suggested as much too. So yeah, so we're getting close to 5,000. I'll definitely have a special episode for 5,000. So we could possibly hit 5,000 while we're on that cruise. And if we do, I'll make sure to do a special live. It might be just after we finish and I come back and we're at 5,000, but we're getting close to 5,000. It's going to happen soon. So thank you all for being a part of that. And the goal is to hit 6,000 by Christmas. So it's possible. It's possible. But thank you all for all of your support, the super chats. Like I said, this hour went really fast. It was fun commenting and getting your input on things to do in the 3 ports that we'll be visiting. I will be hosting a bar crawl again on the Magic. That will be a lot of fun. Sean, thank you for that. And I'm sorry if I missed you earlier. It's the first time I'm seeing your name. And we will travel safe. We're flying out, like I said, Friday morning, and we'll be in Norfolk. T says would love to hear about the embarkation process in Norfolk. Yeah, it'll be our first trip. That's a good point, T. And yeah, we'll see you all later. And thanks for joining. We'll see you. We're going to go live before Tuesday. I promise you that. So keep a lookout, have that notification bell hit, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everybody.